Hi, welcome. We're so glad that you're joining us. I am Suzanne Lynn, and today we're talking to Johna Burke, Global Managing Director for AMEC. Johna, I'm glad that you're here. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. It's always such a pleasure getting to spend time with you and talk about my favorite subject.
All right, well, let's just jump in because that subject has a virtual conference coming up.
We do. It's pretty exciting. So we were supposed to be in Vienna June 2nd through the 4th this year, but with all things 2020 and being able to be agile and nimble and all of those other amazing adjectives that we've all embraced and adopted, we're doing a virtual summit. And the great thing is we were already in talks with our partner, Intrado Digital, to provide a virtual element of our summit this year. And that's why we've been able to make this happen. So we've adjusted the conference. It's going to kick off on July 8th and 9th. And that thinking was really around we're a global organization. So where is everyone going to be with their arc, with the curve, with all of those things that we were all, indoctrinated in.
Right.
And so we decided to move it out at least a month so that most groups would be beyond that curve and wouldn't be distracted with the health of family members, the sake of everything else. And so starting to either really embrace what this new normal is or adopting what that next phase is and how that's going to be different. So we kick off on July 8th and 9th with 2 days of keynotes. We have our awards on July 8th, which celebrates the best of the measurement and evaluations community industry. And then we go on to where we have kind of ongoing programs through the end of October. So think of it like your favorite Netflix subscription just perpetuated through a whole season pass.
See, I love that because you couldn't stay in Vienna for all that time. So it's kind of, there's a benefit, right?
Exactly. And we will be in Vienna May 5 through 7 in 2021. So something wonderful to look forward to. In Austria, we're coming for you. So
love it. What can somebody expect if they go, oh my gosh, Johna just made such a case, I got to sign up for the summit? What can they expect?
So the ideal is always that professional communicators, PR, marketing professionals, people who work with data, people who are in the business of understanding what their own tech stack is within their organization to really drive and develop business insights will come to the summit. They'll always learn a little bit, right? They'll understand and learn from case studies of what's really working for an organization, what's not working. We're very lucky to have Jamin Spitzer from Microsoft coming, and he's in their corporate comms team, and he's really built and worked with their program. And so understanding from a tech perspective, even what the communications department of a tech organization, what are those challenges? And that can put into context what the rest of us face every day. And then to inspire people to use data differently. How are other organizations not exactly in our niche using and processing information? And how can we apply those learnings and best practices in communications? One of the standouts for us is obviously our opening keynote, Jim McNamara.
That's going to be amazing.
Who is amazing is the right word. He is a prolific thought leader, a prolific writer, and just a wonderful human being. So he really is the whole package of everything that you want to be surrounded by in your life, and especially in your professional career. He's going to talk about his book that's coming out in July. And in that book, it talks about, the cost of misinformation and disinformation. But from a communication standpoint, it's showing, I think it's 24 million pounds or euros towards ROI from communications. And that's the holy grail for every communicator, is really being able to correlate their work, their efforts, their programs to the value of their organization. And so knowing that Jim is able to do that, and only with a lot of data, a lot of rigor, a lot of strategic efforts, it's just going to be amazing to be able to kick people off and really immerse them in what that success can look like, and hopefully some tips of how they can apply that at their own organization.
Yeah, nobody wants to leave money on the table. I mean, look, you're doing great, but what if one more thing? And technology, the way it's changing, it's a moving target. I mean, if you knew something last year, there's something new you don't know this year.
Right. I've joked, especially the last few months. Imagine if you were in the facial recognition technology state.
Wow.
How does that open your eyes? You know, you go from all of these data points to someone's eyebrows and their eyes. I mean, so it's a totally different environment. And I think that's part of embracing what technology has to offer. Is it's never an all or nothing. And really good technology is always used as a seasoning for what the human, the context, the perspective brings of how you can augment that process, expedite your learnings, make your findings more efficient, but not losing that external element that technology can only do as much as humans will really allow them to do in many respects.
So people who are in this industry already, if they're very seasoned, they're well maturely into them. I'm trying to be real careful. You see me dancing around those of us that are older, or those that are just entering. Is there something for everybody?
There is absolutely something for everyone. We have a couple of sessions. I mean, the one that I'm happiest about, AMEC is responsible for the Barcelona Principles. They were founded in 2010. We had the 2.0 in 2015, and we are doing a 3.0 refresh for 2020. And so we will launch that at the summit. That will occur on July 8th. And then that is only going to be for delegates. We will launch another session on July 10th for the open market. But if you want to get the inside scoop and the first look at those, that we've worked with a lot of our industry partners to kind of collaborate and to work through that. So it's a really great foundation piece for communicators. Those will be launched on July 8th. And that's for everybody, right? That is for the new practitioners say, oh, okay, how do I get some structure? What does some framework look like for me? To the advanced communicator, right? Sometimes we get so insulated.
That's the word, the advanced communicator. Thank you.
Within our own organization, that we become so insulated that we forget to focus on the basics and that blocking and tackling. And so the Barcelona Principles are that good way to just ground yourself, ground your program, keep engaging the thinkers at all levels within your team so that they feel tied to that and they feel they can bring some value because they're always focusing back and tying back to those principles. Mm-hmm. We also have Jonathan Racanel, and I apologize, Jonathan, but he's publishing his book through Wiley about smart cities for dummies. And it's a masterclass of data storytelling, of using open source data. And it's going to be insightful because we all live in a city or a town or a village in this world, and understanding the expectation that's going to be on our cities to really be successful as communicators, as data providers, as marketing, as advertising professionals, being able to get kind of an inside peek at that and look around us at our own environment, in our home, in our own city where we are, and then figure out how we can apply that, how we can align with our organization, with all of those efforts and those responsibilities that are going to be coming. I think that's for everyone, and not just in communications, but everyone across the board. And luckily, through this conference, the communicators are going to get a leg up on everyone else to be able to see that, and then hopefully get some inspiration from him of, hey, that's interesting. I hope I see that in my city. And here's how my own business can align and benefit and support and direct that can be, a game changer for an organization potentially.
I find that we get thinking and presenting and communicating the way that we like to think. And, it sounds like you're going to be opening maybe some minds to, I don't know, maybe we can communicate better the way people want to receive the content,
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I think you always have to be so geared towards your market. And that's why in putting together the virtual event with Intrado, we really are trying to make it so you don't lose the networking, you don't lose the opportunities for overall engagement. And so it's really going to be a test. And, I'll let you know how we do. Every test gets graded, and our delegates will absolutely grade, and there is no curve. But we're also having on July 9th, we have Gabby Stern, who's the director of communications for the WHO. In the middle of a global pandemic, getting a fireside chat with someone who is leading communications at the toughest level, at the toughest time. Danny Rogers from PR Week UK is going to be interviewing her in this fireside chat. And I think if that doesn't inspire and evoke people to have the confidence in the essential role that communication plays in their organization, I don't know what will. So I think there are just a lot of great insights. And again, hopefully that inspiration from people of how to do what they're doing better, more efficient, and how to partner, how to get those programs that will work and make all of their colleagues better and more efficient. I think one of the real limitations is so many times we talk about communication data, and we really need to be talking about the overall tech stack. So marketing, advertising, communication, customer service, they're all in that market mix model, and they're all using the same data. So an organization can make those data-led, solid business decisions.
Your excitement is getting me excited. So let me ask you this. Not everybody's going to be able to sit through for the 8 or 10 hours of the summit. Do you have an outline of what session is going to be where? Where would we find that?
We do. So you can go to amecorg.com, AMECORG.com, and go to the Events 2020 tab for the program. It'll give you the full program. All of the sessions will be live and they will be on demand. So if you have a summit pass, then you'll be able to participate and to get all of that professional development. The key is for those people who participate early on and buy an early ticket and are part of that programming on July 8th and 9th live, they will get to participate in a hive. What is that, you ask?
I do ask that. What is a hive, Johna?
So a hive is essentially where we're trying to bring together the best of collaboration and networking for our delegates that they might otherwise, that they're hungry for in a physical event, but they aren't going to get as much of. So we're going to take probably 5 to 10 hypotheses that are fairly common in the industry, that some that will bubble up from these conversations and from these presentations. Have the delegates be able to choose their hive, led by some of our sponsors, led by some of our speakers. And then over the next couple of months, really get that immersive, collaborative networking experience with each other, where they're sharing, where they're thinking, where they're developing a dissertation of what this means in their part of the world, in their industry, in their organization. And then those groups are going to come back during Measurement Month, which is November of 2020, and present their findings in a webinar series. So everyone will be able to learn from what that thinking is, how are people kind of developing that? And hopefully all of those people in those hives come away with a stronger, better connection to their peers in that group than even they could have had at a physical event over cocktails and a nice dinner.
You thought of everything.
I don't know about that, but we sure are trying.
Okay. Any final thoughts? How, if someone hears or sees this video and they want to invite someone, what would they say? You're going to miss out on. You got to do this.
You're going to miss out on seeing some of the best thinking that can inspire and assure communicators on a global level. And if you're not part of the conversation, then you're just in the corner listening, and you can't spearhead and you can't affect with confidence that same change in your organization unless you're participating, unless you're asking questions of the speakers, asking questions of your peers, and then asking questions of yourself. Am I doing my best? What can we do better? And then always raising that bar for challenge. And I will tell you that Jim McNamara's opening keynote presentation to Fred Cook's review of the 2020 USC Annenberg study of communicators and what are those skills that you need in the future, there is nothing in between that isn't going to touch for something for a delegate, something for their organization, some inspiration and assurance of how they can do what they do the best they possibly can.
Love it, Johna. One more time, website to sign up.
amecorg.com, and go to the 2020 events, and then the program and the registration is there for you.
You're the best.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much,
Have
Suzanne.
a good one.
Spending time with you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.